105.5 FM. 105.5, The Splash.
Good morning and welcome to State Affairs this Saturday morning. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. I'm standing in for Edmond Obilo. How are you doing today? I hope you're good and I hope that the morning has been pleasant for you. All right, so let's talk on the program today. Quite a number of issues on the table that I'd like to really bring to your notice. One of them is essentially about health and primary health care provision in Nigeria. I'd also like to talk about the current question about the migration, or if you like, emigration of health workers from Nigeria to the Western world. And the attempt by the National Assembly to mitigate this by imposing a 5 years compulsory service on medical workers in Nigeria. So I'll be asking you to join the conversation. By the way, you can find my post on Facebook. Just go to Splash FM's fan page on Facebook, Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan. On Facebook, you'll find the post. I'll read the post to you in a moment. Essentially, it is about that conversation, and this is the post. The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill aimed at curtailing the emigration of Nigerian-trained medical doctors to foreign countries. The bill proposes 5 years mandatory service by Nigerian-trained medical doctors before they are given full practicing license. And the question will be, what do you make of this proposal? A lot has been said about this proposal, really, and the House, intervened and basically tried to see whether we understand the essence of their intervention. That's the very big matter that I have on the table. So on the program today, like I told you, we're focusing on healthcare provision, particularly from the angle of the emigration of medical workers. I'll also dwell on the primary healthcare particle of the health sector. I hope to have the executive secretary of the Oyo State Primary Healthcare Board on the program this morning. And much later, I hope to have a political conversation. I'm expecting to have the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Oyo State on the program much later. All right, that's the package. Okay, so let's start on this note. And the note is to ask you to go to Facebook, Splash FM's fan page. Check me out there as we live stream. And also let me know your thoughts and comments about my posts that I told you about. Already, quite a number of interventions on that post, and I'll ask you to join on the post really. Once again, you can go to Splash FM's fan page on Facebook. The State Affairs post here says, the House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill aimed at curtailing the emigration of Nigerian trained medical doctors to foreign countries. The bill proposes 5 years mandatory service by Nigerian trained medical doctors before they are given full practicing license. And the question is, what do you make of this proposal? Is it proper? Is it the way to go? You can talk to me, okay? Much later, I'll open the phone lines 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678, and 0706 949 3000. Those are the numbers. Hashtag State Affairs on Twitter. If you go there, you'll find us there on Splash FM 1055. We're also live streaming on all our channels. I'm talking about TikTok as well. We're live on TikTok. Just search for Splash FM 105.5. And you'll find me there. Let me know your thoughts, okay? I'll read your comments, ABA, Ayo, and the rest of you. I'll come back to you in a moment. But you see, we need to go historical on this matter. And I thought to read to you a couple of things I was able to dig up. So this morning I stumbled upon a blog post published in January of this year by the Oxford University. The writer, Adebisi Adenipekun, titled the post this way. He says, the brain drain of health professionals in Nigeria, the buck stops with government. In the article, he writes that the motivation of healthcare professionals to leave developing countries for developed countries has been widely reported from as early as the 1960s, when as many as 27,000 professionals from Africa traveled to Western countries. The World Bank in 2007 reported that over 44% of African citizens who completed their study programs abroad, especially PhDs, between 1986 and 1996 did not return to Africa. Regardless of the data set used, the recent statistics on the emigration of healthcare professionals from Nigeria to developed countries are worrisome. Okay, so essentially, basically because this is worrisome, the National Assembly has decided to step in, or the usual language is to wade in. For instance, the United Kingdom Immigration Report in 2022 put the number of Nigerian healthcare professionals granted working visas in the UK in 2021 at 13,609. Also, between December 2021 and May 2022, a total of 727 Nigerian trained medical doctors relocated to the United Kingdom. While the UK is one of the top destinations, Nigerian trained healthcare professionals emigrate to Canada, to the US, to Saudi Arabia, to Australia, and other developed countries, even including South Africa. For Adebisi Adenipekun, the reasons for this mass exodus of highly skilled healthcare professionals have been broadly classified into pull and push factors. The pull factors are the incentives and positive structures available in developed countries that provide the promise of a better life and opportunities for healthcare professionals in their countries. These include, but not limited to, the prestige of foreign education, higher prospects for career development, better remuneration packages and working conditions, as well as improved quality of life. So my question is, do you have those elements in the Nigerian space? It would interest you that the people in government, maybe we should say they probably don't understand these things. Or do they? We'll get to know in a moment. The push factors. So there's those are the factors that pull them to this Western world. But how about the push factors? So we're saying that we deliberately push these people out. Listen to this. These factors are negative conditions or systems in developing countries, including Nigeria, that tend to force healthcare professionals to seek opportunities outside of the country. Are you talking about the deplorable working condition of healthcare professionals in Nigeria? Really? I'll tell you a story, or I'll play to you the testimonial of a professional physician in Nigeria in a moment. Or are you talking about the high level of economic inequality in the country? Or are you also talking about the fact that there is virtually no well-equipped. I'm talking about well-equipped. I'm not talking about the ultra-modern mindset of Nigeria where you buy bed space, you buy beds, and you buy a few equipment and you say ultra-modern. Listen to this. This leaves more than 40% of Nigerians living below the poverty line and needing healthcare attention, but that they do not get. Why? Because we have largely, virtually understaffed and ill-equipped government hospitals. However, at the risk of sounding or stating the obvious, the push factor in Nigeria transcends the challenges with the healthcare system. Of course, you have the security challenges, harsh economic conditions, that have become recurrent themes for the emigration of healthcare providers in recent years. So you understand that the healthcare worker and their families, they also face these challenges that we face. I mean, insecurity, our galloping inflation, and so on and so forth. How about the banditry that's still ravaging some parts of the country? These are some of the questions that you need to answer. So a critical question, therefore, is what is the government doing in making sure that they retain the best brains in the country? For me, the question is, are the Nigerian authorities really interested in addressing the issues? Those are some of the questions that I thought we need to trash on the program today. For instance, around 2019, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, insisted on national television that Nigeria has enough, in fact, more than enough medical doctors, and could care less if they left the country. Minister Ngige, for him, they would send dollars and pounds back home. Listen to Chris Ngige here. It's still State Affairs on Splash FM 105.5.
No, I'm not concerned at all. I'm not worried. We have surplus. If you have surplus, you export. I was taught biology and chemistry by Indian teachers in my secondary school days. They have surplus in their country. We have surplus in the medical profession here. I can tell you. It's my area. We have more than enough. Quote me. They go out, they sharpen their skills, they earn money and send them back home here. Yes, we have earnings from them. We have foreign exchange earnings, not from oil. The Indians were doing it. Ceylonese, they taught me. Pakistanis, they taught me. Those guys go there, they are trained, they are better trained because of the facilities they have there. Eventually, I know some of them who have come back home with those facilities and opened up centers here. I know of my doctor in America. He has a facility in Imo State now. Has about 4 facilities in Maryland where he is practicing. And so you tell me that there's a brain drain? Yes, he has gone there. In fact, he left in the 80s, yes. We were medical school together. I know a couple of them. And they are setting up centers back home here. And in their centers, they have CAT scan, they have MRI scan, they have other scan, which even the government hospitals cannot maintain. You see, the drain is inimical. If somebody goes out to be a neurosurgeon abroad, and we don't have neurosurgeons here.
Chris Ngige, the Minister of Labour and Employment. Listen to him, or did you? And do you find it fascinating? His train of thought, really? So we have more than enough medical doctors. We can ship them out and they can ship in money. I mean, foreign exchange. Interesting. Of course, we know that the migration of labor, especially medical workers, is not a new phenomenon. In the article I quoted earlier, Adebisi Adenipekun referred to the fact that from as early as the 1960s, as many as 27,000 professionals from Africa traveled to the Western countries. So it's not new, right? It's not new. Okay, so listen to this. A former second vice chairman of the Association of Public Health Physicians, Alero Roberts, alluded to this recently in an interview. She said, however, that government is not being honest because the issues that push the medical workers into fleeing are perpetually with us and unresolved. I thought you should listen to her. This is Alero Roberts here. Listen now.
Globally, there is a movement of talent from some areas to other areas. I know that certainly the gaps that have been created for instance, in the UK health sector, because a lot of the UK health workers left the health service, some to greener pastures abroad, paradoxically enough. A lot of them moved to Canada, to Australia, and some just left the service altogether and decided to retire or resign and stay with their welfare packages. And that's what created the gaps, which our healthcare workers are now moving into. So this is going to be a situation. I mean, it is the law of supply and demand. And once an area creates a greener pasture, quote and unquote, people will move in to fill it. I recall with painful clarity when I had been called for an issue. And as I drove into the hospital, there was a young doctor standing at the door saying, here is the patient, I am here, the facility is here, and I do not have the materials to work with to save life and life. What am I doing here? I mean, that question for me encapsulated everything that doctors and nurses and teachers have been fighting for in this country for decades. It didn't just start today. We cannot continue to be giving people false hope that because they've made it to the door of the hospital and eureka, there's a doctor and a nurse and a medical records officer, I am going to get what I need. And then the next thing they get is an entire shopping list running into tens and thousands of naira before even the minimum can be done to save life and live. We can't continue to deceive people. It's what's making so many people simply walk away. And this is the reality. This is not an imagination. This is not then say. This is what is going on. If we don't have the materials and the wherewithal to work, what do you expect us to do?
All right, Alero Roberts, they're saying if you don't have the materials to work, what else do you expect them to do? But is the government seeing this matter this way, really? That's the question that I have for you this morning. It is still State Affairs on Splash FM, this 8th day of April 2023. Okay, so join me on Facebook, okay? And let's reflect on these issues. Recently, the Minister of Health, Ehanire Osage, was also talking about this matter. Particularly late last year, up to this year, the federal government was mulling an idea of maybe you say importing the exported medical health care labor from the Western world. It was trying to, absorb, maybe you like to call it a fusion of what you have at home and the diaspora. So they were planning to recruit from abroad medical health workers who are of Nigerian origin. What will they be doing basically? The minister was talking recently. And he talked about this idea and some other couple of issues here. So basically, how do they want to address the brain drain? He called it brain gain. Listen to Osage Ehanire in this matter.
The very high workforce mobility of health workers is global. Doctors are moving and nurses are moving everywhere. I've had occasion to speak with other ministers, even Ghana, they are losing doctors going to, so there's a high mobility in the health sector workforce, globally, internationally. So we should not knock ourselves only as if we are just the only victims on earth. No, what we are doing about it, first of all, is to do everything we can to improve the conditions of service. We have improved the hazard allowance. We're looking at how to improve the remunerations. But we are also looking at how to now introduce a better form of performance-based remuneration, so that doctors don't just receive simple grade-level salary, but according to the work that they can. So we try to measure performance and let people be happy that they have been properly rewarded for what they have done. And what we are also doing is to do what we call conversion of brain drain to brain gain. And we're doing that with a new mechanism that is being set up now to engage Nigerian doctors and nurses and pharmacists in diaspora and connect them. The program is just beginning. Connect them with here universities and hospitals, because modern technology makes it possible for somebody to be delivering a lecture in New York and we are sitting here looking at that and hearing it. So we can have those who are able to transfer knowledge to do so.
Okay, so did you hear that? And while the minister said that, could he be contradicting himself really in that conversation? Because, much later in that same conversation, he said that there's no brain drain. And he used the word NET, there is no brain drain net. What does that mean really? Let's see how I respond to this one. Osage Hanire once again.
Up to 3,000 doctors every year. We're losing about 1,000. So net, there is no brain drain net. What we are losing is the caliber of doctors who are already experienced, who are ripe, who are mature, who have gathered a lot of experience, and also the mechanism for employing doctors, because there are quite a few unemployed doctors around, and also the mechanism for being able to quickly employ doctors one for one. When one doctor resigns, you quickly replace him. Because if you have to go through a long process to replace someone who left, then you have a net deficit inside particular institutions. And that's the problem we have right now. So we have developed a way of what we call the one for one. One doctor goes away, you are now free to replace him. One nurse goes away, replace her or him. That part is taken care of. We have discussed increasing the output. At the moment, we are producing a good number of doctors. We need more medical schools and nursing schools. We also need more schools of health technology, because the deficit is also very strong at the primary healthcare level. That's why you are supposed to give help to rural and indigent people, or also rural dwellers. We do not have enough schools of health technology. We also do not have enough nurses. We don't have enough doctors. Hardly will you find a primary healthcare center that has a doctor. So we need personnel at that level.
All right, so you heard Osage Ohanire there. Does it not sound contradictory, really? Okay. So we're not losing doctors, and we're losing doctors. Oh, wow. What a paradox. Okay, so what exactly is the government doing about the equipment, the working conditions, and the rest of it? That seems to be a big issue, particularly when you speak to the medical health workers and why they are jetting out of the country in droves. They'll tell you that the working condition is not good, particularly the equipment and the rest of it. How does the federal government aim to respond to this? Listen to Osage Hanire once again.
It is true that the conditions of service need to be improved. They need to be constantly improved. We need to continue to look at how we are equipping our hospitals. But I will say that at this time, the equipment is not that miserable. There are places that are really very well equipped, and there are hospitals that are performing quite well, actually. There are certain hospitals that we have in the sector who are doing quite well in that they are able to dedicate themselves to making sure they procure equipment that they need, even by themselves. They plan their own building, they build wards. So depending again on the way you manage your hospitals, you can do a lot. The federal government sooner or later will have to, there is a health reform committee that the president has set up that is at work now. That's going to come out with results very soon. But part of what they are doing is how do we fund our hospitals? The number of hospitals that the federal government manages has risen from 5, 6, 7 years ago to 50-something, 50, 56, and increasing. So if you are managing that many hospitals continuing to increase, and you have to provide equipment for each one, pay everybody, something eventually has to change. That equal attention to all will become difficult with time because they're getting so many. So a way of being able to give the hospitals the opportunity and the chance to solve their own problems by themselves, recognize their own problems, solve their own problems, decide which specialties they want to really, really focus more on, apart from general specialties, and also source the equipment they're looking for by various methods. For example, by leasing equipment and paying over time. So they can now take those decisions over time by themselves. And the resident doctors, and there are also possibilities of better managing those residencies.
All right, it's State Affairs on Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan. Okay, so recently, just a couple of days ago, it broke, the news broke that the House of Representatives was trying to make a move to stop migration of Nigerian trained doctors. The lawmakers are proposing 5 years mandatory service by Nigerian trained medical doctors before they are given full practicing license. The House of Representatives commenced the amendment of the Medical and Dental Practitioners Act to stop the migration of Nigerian trained medical practitioners. The amendment that is sponsored by Ganiyu Johnson, APC Lagos, is proposing that Nigerian trained medical doctors must serve in the country for 5 years before they are given a full practicing license. During a debate on the general principle of the bill on Thursday, Mr. Johnson said it was only fair for medical practitioners who enjoyed taxpayer subsidies on their training to give back to society. Well, when this bill was opened for debate on the floor of the House, it generated quite a lot of reactions from fellow rep members. For instance, Uzoma Abonta from Abia spoke against the bill, saying it would infringe on the rights of doctors to move freely. You remember the man called Mark Bila, right? Okay, he also spoke about the bill. He said the bill was uncalled for. And he said that probably would need a better framing of the legislation. And he said, I want to suggest that we look at how to rework the bill in itself because professional myself, I do not think you should be able to practice anything without your license. So a person in such a critical field as medicine, how would you give somebody a temporary license? Or what would that imply? So the Speaker of the House of Representatives, had to make some clarifications because the question of the fundamental human rights and all that were raised. And one of the questions for me is, why would you do that, really? Why would you want to limit people? Okay, so the argument has always been that we are training these people, these medical doctors, for almost free. And after getting their training, what they do is they get out of the country. Is there a justification for this, or what is the justification for it, really? That's what I'm asking on the program today. Listen to Ganiyu Johnson himself, and let's reason together on the program today.
There is heavy decline on medical brain drain. From 24,000 to now, as I speak, we have less than 10,000 doctors in Nigeria. So that is alarming. So I now thought to myself that, okay, let us look at our laws, what is happening. I noticed that, look, the vacuum is that immediately after housemanship, you know, we notice that most doctors, because of greener pastures, there is a capital flight from Nigeria abroad to UK, America, and all that. Now, government has invested so much money in training these medical doctors. So if you realize, if they can now take advantage of our situation, okay, and now open their doors, because just recently in 2020, UK opened healthcare and visa to people. They were all going to UK and US too, and Canada. So what should we do? Should we fold our arms? So now, and I said, okay, maybe to give back to the society, that is to our people, after training you. Yes, we are not saying you cannot go abroad to make your money, but if government has subsidized your tuition, okay, I mean, to the tune of 40 to 150,000, the least we can get from you is that after your housemanship, before you are given full license, before you are given full license, before you are given full license, at least you can give back to the society within a period of 5 years. So after 5 years, you are free to go. At least you've given back to the society.
All right, did you hear Ganiyu Johnson there? What do you think on this matter? 08091551055, 08056998678, and 07069493000. Those are the numbers. I am waiting for your response on this matter. Go to Facebook now. You can join me on TikTok as well. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Michael.
Good morning, madam.
How are you?
Very good this morning.
Great. Yeah. I listened to the legislator, and it is also important for us to query further into his mind. Each time he felt sick, or there was need for him to go through terrible medical situation, has he been so comfortable with the situation in the hospitals? I have gone to hospitals in Nigeria. I've gone to private hospitals in Nigeria, and I've asked myself, if I have spent so much to send my son or daughter to a medical school after 7 years and all the training, I don't pray that my son or daughter should work in the condition that Nigerian doctors are working.
Okay, madam.
I will rather, yes.
The question to ask you is, you said if you have trained your child, but the government is saying, and basically if you look at the bill to train a medical doctor in Nigerian universities, and you compare it to the private universities in Nigeria, you would say that it's cheaply cheap, isn't it? When you consider how much it costs to train a medical doctor in those countries that they are moving to.
Let me tell you, it's a function of the economy of everyone. One in Nigeria is one in any country in the world. If you give me grace, I will return grace back to you. They've gone through training under hardship. Nobody wants to die in servitude.
Okay.
It is for them to legislate for a change. It is for them to see through to say that there is nothing working. Education is not working. Health system is breaking down. The environment is degrading. So they need to go and see and change things. And the mode of payment. Let me ask you, how much is a medical doctor earning after 7 years, and then they spend 5 years? 5 years, no air condition, even where they keep all the medication, the temperature is so hot.
All right.
And they see their colleagues.
Okay.
And who wants to die? Who wants to die in this situation?
Okay. Thank you.
Somebody is standing there to legislate.
Thank
they should stay 5 years.
Thank you very much, madam. Miss Opakunle, right?
Opatunde.
Okpatunde, right, Mrs. Okpatunde there. All right. Thank you very much for your intervention this morning. 08091551055, 0805-6998678, and 0706-9493,000. On Facebook, Albiz Charles Obinna, it's mischievous. Now, people move out because the country has not made the country suitable for medical practitioners. The government should provide incentives that will make the profession admirable in the country, not by imposing more pains on the practitioners. I'm totally against the bill. Charles Obinna, thank you very much. Ebie Ayo. But politicians are free to travel abroad for medical care. No bill against that. No crime in that. Jokes. What, with or without the license, doctors still leave Nigeria. All right, thank you very much. Kinyele Victor, misplaced priority. If the system is working well, I don't think doctors would want to sojourn in another country. Let the reps and senators rather work on how to make the nation safe to live in. Thank you very much for joining the conversation. All right, let's see who's here. If you're here, let me see your hands. All right, someone is here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to State Affairs Today.
My name is John Oyisi.
All right, Mr. John.
See, I don't know why Nigerians are trying to record for themselves. Most of these policymakers in this country, whenever they are sick, they fly abroad to get treatment. The commoners are here, dying in the dilapidated conditions of our facility, having affect providers.
Okay.
You should tell them here. If they don't want people to go, they should make the facilities okay. They should make their money okay.
Okay.
Nobody wants to go to overseas to go and mingle with these people. People are living because the condition of service here.
All right. Okay, so the condition of service is not palatable. Okay, thank you very much. Bamidele Ajulaye Adewale here. In my own view, it's good to serve one's fatherland with love, strength, and faith, not purposely to get huge amounts. In another way, Nigerian politicians, governments have to be blamed for not being good examples that followers must emulate. Nigerian leaders, politicians that serve their fatherland just for 4 years, enrich themselves and live flamboyant life, more than civil servants who devote most of their own time and resources to serve for 35 years or more. These same politicians, leaders, still patronize foreign hospitals and doctors, as if we have no expert in Nigeria. The money they waste on foreign medical treatment can help to appreciate local doctors' services. Therefore, the bill lacks merit if the leaders fail to pass the same bill that will stop their foreign medical patronage. Okay, so let's see who is here. Okay, Mayowa Oloyede, the bill should have been to stop politicians from going for medical tourism abroad, as this will keep them on their toes to fix our medical facilities. To seek to know the enticing monthly payment for the doctors abroad and see how to level up here so they won't be lured to travel. To provide the enabling environment and social amenities in the country so all sectors can grow at par with other nations of the world. To start with themselves and making sure things are working in the sector. Would they stop nurses from going abroad too with another bill, because you should know nurses are traveling in thousands too? With the above, the cart of greed, negligence, and carelessness would not be put before the innocent horse of progress. Thank you very much, Mayowa Oloyede. Commercial break on the program State Affairs this morning. Please don't go away.
Splash FM 105.5.
This Ramadan, enjoy Golden Penny Semovita, made from premium wheat and fortified with vitamins and minerals. Easy to mold and swallow, that keeps you nourished while fasting. Ramadan Kareem from Golden Penny Semovita.
As I get belle so, I suppose to dey take care of myself. Don't make my body dey kakaraka. Okay, nah. If you want make you and the pikin wey dey your belle tranga well, make you dey take iron and folic acid medicine every day when you get belle. When you take iron and folic acid, your blood no go short and the pikin wey dey your belle go dey do well. Plus say make you dey visit health center wey near you for antenatal care. This message na from ARI Project or your State Ministry of Health.
Are you in need of a nice and comfortable, fully furnished hostel accommodation in the University of Ibadan? Or are you in search of a place for seminars and executive trainings? Look no further. Adebayo Akonde Hall is the go-to place for your lodging needs with a home away from home feel. Adebayo Akonde Hall is a 4-star hostel built in a serene environment with constant supply of electricity. It has fully furnished rooms that gives you great comfort at an affordable price. Adebayo Akonde Hall is located at Ajibode Extension, University of Ibadan. For inquiries and reservations, visit www.adebayohall.com or call 080-5699-8718 or 080-5699-8719 or 080-5699-8720. Adebayo Akonde Hall. Built for comfort. Built for you.
Hello?
Ọ̀rẹ́, ṣé o wà nílé?
Mo mọ̀ wà l'Abuja, máa dé lọ́sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀.
Àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ẹnìkan ló wá mójútó ilé epo ẹ̀. Wọ́n á ṣe é léṣe. Ẹsẹ̀ tèmi kì í wọ́n nílé epo mi. Lórí èmi tèmi, kó wó pé ni o.
Kò sí fòyà ọ̀rẹ́ mi. Gbogbo fuel pump tó wà nílé epo mi pátá ni mo ti fi e-pump sí. Mo mọ iye jálá epo tí mò ń tà lójúmọ́. Iye oníbàárà mi àti àkókò tọ́jà mi ń tà jù lójúmọ́. Kódà mo lè ṣe àyípadà sí iye owó ọjà látòrí dashboard mi bí yìí kó sì hàn lórí pump kọ̀ọ̀kan lọ́hùn. Ṣé wàá rí i pé èmi gangan ni kówó pé?
Ọ̀rẹ́, ó nà án mí.
Ìwọ náà ra e-pump sáwọn fuel pump ẹ̀. E-pump ń ṣiṣẹ́ dójú àmì. Owó rẹ̀ ò sì gani lára. Láti béèrè fún tiẹ̀ pè sórí 0913-104-8999 tàbí 0803-609-6226. Website www.epump.africa. E-pump kówó pé ni o.
Ẹ̀kọ́ náà ọdún ní oṣù ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ìmọ̀ wáyé ọdún yìí tún bá mi láyé tó dùn èmi ń dúpẹ́.
Alihamdulilayi adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run Ọba Allah tó fún wa láǹfààní àwẹ̀ tọdún yìí. Ẹ kú ti mọ̀ pé lọ́dọọdún ni ìkànnì Splash FM àti Lágẹ̀lú FM máa ń ṣàgbékalẹ̀ wáàsí ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run tó fi máa gbékalẹ̀ ìdíje Al-Quran kíké ọjọ́ Ṣẹ́gun Tuesday ọjọ́ 11 oṣù kẹrin ọdún tá a wà yìí 11th April 2023 nítorí yìí máa wáyé o ní gbọ̀ngàn Jọ́gọ̀ Event Center tí ń bẹ nílùú Ìbàdàn láago 9 òwúrọ̀ 9 a.m. prompt oníwàásí ọjọ́ náà ni Sheikh Muhyiddin Ajani Bello oníwàásí àgbáyé.
Alága ọjọ́ náà ni High Chief Nureni Akabi Àrólé Ìbà Olúyọ̀lé Ìbàdàn. Mother of the day Chief Mrs. Bọ́ládé Adéribigbe CEO Bọ́ládé Travels. Nígbà tí spiritual father of the day jẹ́ Sheikh Alhaji Abdulganiyu Abubakar Agbọ́tọmọ kékeré. Ìmáàmù àgbàlẹ̀ Ìbàdàn orí adé ń kalẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ náà ni Ọba Khalid Ọlábísí Oyèníyì Ọ̀kẹ́rẹ́ ti Ṣakí. Nígbà tí àwọn ẹni àyẹ́sí pàtàkì jẹ́ Alájà Olóyè Tafikat Babayẹmi CEO Palm 77's Hotel tó fi dórí Chief Mrs. Alhaja Rọ́mọkẹ́ Àyìndé Keromli, Dr. Mrs. Victoria Samson CEO Bovas Nigeria Limited tó fi dórí ìyàwó Olóyè Mutioyo Aláṣọ́nlú Ìbàdàn, Alhaja Bọ́lá Ológbùrò àti Alhaji Abdulwahab Adékúnlé Amex Construction. Bákan náà ni Alhaji Waiki Abbas Babalọ́jà General ti ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ náà ní gbẹ̀yìn. Àwọn ẹni àyẹ́sí pàtàkì lẹ́ẹ̀kan ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àti káàkiri àgbáyé ni a máa gbórí wọlé síbi wáàsí ìta gbangba kan ní Splash FM àti Lágẹ̀lú FM.
Olùgbàlejò àgbà ọjọ́ náà ni High Chief Adébáyọ̀ Àkàndé MFR ẹ̀karùn Olúbàdàn tilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn àti màmá wa Chief Mrs. Oníkẹ́pọ̀ Àkàndé CON 2 times ministers. Ramadan lecture àti àṣekágbà ìdíje Al-Quran kéké ti Splash FM àti Lágẹ̀lú FM April 11 ọdún yìí ni ó wáyé o ní Jọ́gọ̀ Center Ìbàdàn ẹ má ṣàlàyé wá.
This world is not my home.
With gratitude to God, the entire Adeshin Ogundoyin family of Erua announces the glorious home call of our loving mother, Chief Mrs. Justina Iyabo Ogundoyin, globally known as Yeye Tina Ogundoyin, the Iyaloja General of Ibarapa land, Yeyelua of Erua, and the Are Iyalode of Ibadan land in her lifetime. Yeye Tina answered the ultimate call on the 26th day of March 2023 at the age of 63. Burial arrangements are as follow. Christian wake will come up on Wednesday, Wednesday, 12th April at St. Joseph Catholic Church, Okeado, Ibadan by 4 p.m. to be followed by Lining Stage on Thursday, 13th April at Orioke Ogundoyin, Erua by 5 p.m. while burial service will take place on Friday, 14th April at Ilerua Stadium, Erua, Oyo State by 10 a.m. prompt. Interment follows immediately at Ogundoyin Vault at Detoro Estate, Erua, and reception will cap it up at Deck Hall, Erua, Yeyetina Ogundoyin. Sleep on till we meet to part no more. Announcers, the entire Ogundoyin family.
So special to us, golden morn. So special to us. I cannot go a day without this goodness in the bowl, giving energy to make it stay golden. Yeah. Golden morn, so special to us.
Splash FM 105.5.
Right, it's still State Affairs on Splash FM 105.5 here in the city of Ibadan. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. I'm standing in for Edmond Obilo. I hope you're engaging on Facebook. Okay, so let's go to a few top stories. I mean, the headlines are from the newspapers as they have come out this morning. I'm starting with the Nation newspaper. By the way, I told you that I'll be having the executive secretary of the Oyo State Primary Healthcare Board. He is in the studio with me. I'll bring him to the microphone in a moment. A lot to talk about, particularly when you focus on the health sector. And we just celebrated the World Health Day. And I'll be focusing on primary health care, really. Okay. Let's see what's up here. This is the Nation of this Saturday, 8th of April, 2023. The big story. Speaker race hots up as Wase, Abbas, Betara, Kalu, others intensify lobby. The riders, North Central, Northwest, Northeast, Southeast, make case for position. Gbajabiamila meets with 9 aspirants for seat. And Otom bemoans loss of senatorial tickets. The faces of the gentlemen who are jostling for the speakership are here. All right. And the story that has occupied the top strip just above the nameplate of the Nation newspaper this morning, obedience, sowing seed of fascism, generating climate of fear. This is attributed to Wale Soyinka, says refusal to accept criticism, their badge of honor, dubs them repulsive concoction. Okay, so have you been following the trend of the attacks and counterattacks from all these quarters? Okay, so you need to read details of that on the front page, particularly bleeding to page 5 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Chimamanda is under fire over letter to Biden. Keyamo says it's a reflection of pathetic colonial mentality. Bandits abduct 80 children in Zamfara. Are the bandits back? Buhari to election losers, be patient. Allow legal process run its course. That's the front page of the Nation newspaper. If you like to read opinion articles like I do, you can check out the back page of the Nation Today, Illuminations. That's the column. This is Segun Ayobolu, postscript on the elections. And the Ojekere, time to grade Nigerian coaches. All right, so the front page of the Punch newspaper, 5-star retirement. Matawale, Wike, Okowa, Umahi, Ganduje to get mansions, executive cars. The rider Ebonyi, Enugu, Jigawa, other governors to receive similar benefits. By the way, have you seen the governors' pensions in Nigeria? You need to go check it out, the pension of governors in Nigeria, so that those people who fight over politicians will understand some of the questions that they ought to ask. Okay, allow judges to do their job. Soyinka tells Obi supporters, bandits abduct 80 children in Zamfara. Again? Oof. All right, intending Hajj pilgrims to pay 2.9 million naira. That is attributed to Nakon. 2.9 million naira to worship God? Oh, wow. You like to hear the soft side of life, right? I fell in love immediately. I saw Oba Akambi, Oluwo's wife, here talking. Despite laws, persons with disabilities endure torture accessing Lagos bridges. The back page of The Punch. Joshua 5 fights again in July. UFC 287. Can Adesanya end Pereira's dominance? I saw the highlights of that fight between Adesanya and Pereira when he beat him. Will he be able to upstage or displace this man this time? All right, so this is the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this Saturday. Government mute as bandits abduct 80 children in Zamfara. Youths block highway, protest mass killings in Benue. So bandits in abducting children in Zamfara and bandits also killing in Benue. Kidnappers in Lagos forest. Victims tell tales of woe. Soyinka knocks Peter Obi's supporters, challenges Dati to live TV debate, says his belief in Project Nigeria no longer certain. All right, so let's check out this one. Manhunt for killer Okada riders in Lagos. 2 arrested, 41 bikes seized. So you'd like to check out some of those stories, please go ahead and check them out. Easter, Buhari gets governors greet Christians. All right, so let's see who is here. Farouk Perogi again. Obi's face-saving litigious bluster against People's Gazette. Okay, so you've heard about that audio, the leaked audio, right? Peter Obi has said it is fake. The Guardian this morning of this Saturday. Rivers governorship poll. Tension as APC others can't file petition at tribunal. The riders, I was rescued by PDP chieftains, not kidnapped. APC lawmaker clarifies. No petition received yet on governorship election, says tribunal. The mission has been accomplished, says PDP. Okay, let's see what's here. You'd like to check out the story. Okay, please go to the Guardian of this Saturday. What's on the back page? Pereira Adesanya again. It's my last chance to finish Pereira. Adesanya vows and moves to reclaim middleweight title in Miami. Okay. What is in the sports here? Other sports stories, particularly football. Man United I-39 victory against Everton. Okay. Those are the stories. I mean, the top stories on the front pages and the back pages of the national newspapers today. I told you that I'll be going to health and particularly primary health care in Nigeria. I told you that I have the executive secretary of the Oyo State Primary Health Care Board. I will be bringing him to the microphone in a moment. Just a few issues in the health sector, and I will put him on the microphone. Okay, so the World Health Organization recently revealed that about 672 million Africans, representing 48% of the continent's population, still lack access to quality health care that they need. The information was made public by the World Health Organization Regional Director for Africa. And during that commemoration of the World Health Day I was talking about. And this World Health Organization official has said that Essentially, you need primary health care to be strengthened so that you can achieve what they call the universal health coverage. And that is very important if you understand it. Well, we have the expert in the house who will help us to understand it. Nigeria's Minister of Health also within the week, Dr. Osage Hanire, you heard his voice earlier on the program, stated that state governments in Nigeria must invest in health workers. And he made this call against the backdrop of the commemoration of this year's World Health Day, celebrated on the 7th of April this year. He said that the shortage of health workers is a barrier to the country's vision of achieving universal health coverage. He said personnel budgets of health facilities should be spent on maintaining more numbers of frontline healthcare workers to improve quality and effective service delivery. Particularly helped on this strengthening of the primary health care, which has happened to be the theme for the World Health Day 2023. All right, let's talk about primary health care delivery, and particularly focus on the theme, Oyo State primary health care so far, and the issues arising. On the program, State Affairs this morning, I have in the house with me Dr. Muideen Olatunji is the Executive Secretary of the Oyo State Primary Health Care Board. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I was looking at the website of the Primary Health Care Board a few minutes ago, and what I got here is that the Oyo State Primary Health Care Board is saddled with the responsibility of coordinating resources and stakeholders to achieve optimum primary health care system for the people of Oyo State. And so your board is mandated to drastically reduce women and child death in the state. Let's start from there. How far have we gone in this mandate?
Thank you so much. Yeah, we've gone so far so good. And to be specific, which one of the mandates are you referring to? Is it the harnessing of the resources for the optimal use?
Yes.
Or reduction of maternal mortality in the state's effort journey towards that?
Yes.
Well, I think both has been well achieved. Talking about the harnessing resources, if you go by the Alma Ata Declaration of 1978, that says the primary health care should be the bedrock of health service delivery for any country. Unfortunately, since then, it has been like a kind of a lip service. It had a kind of a gusto sometime around 79, 80 to 85 and 86, during the time of all this going around some Kuti. And some attention was given to the sector. But just subsequently after that, with the change in our governance style, I don't want to start mentioning military or what have you, the flip-flop from the then democratic dispensation, focus of attention was not so much on primary health care as it ought to be. Most of the attention being given to it were much more like a kind of a lip service. And that was what led in 2004 that every major stakeholders had to come together and say, what can we do to strengthen primary health care?
Yeah.
We all say primary care is the bedrock, is the foundation. What have you done to make it a solid foundation? So we now came up with the process then to enact a bill which was the first National Health Act for the country. We often say health is in the concurrent list, but there is no specific law that actually conforms us to do the needful.
Yes.
Until we had the work around that National Health Act, which was signed into law in 2014 by the President Jonathan. This one now gave us a clear guideline on how we should be able to structure primary health care and make it much more functional and be able to harness the resources we talk about and know how do we pilot it, because we said primary care should be within the purview of the local government, but we know most of the time the strong political will required at this level was not always there. So this was taken care of in the National Health Act that says every state of the federation should now establish a board that will be able to oversee the running and the coordination of primary health care in each state of the federation. We come directly under the MPSDA and again as a kind of attachment, affiliate coordination, Federal Ministry of Health. So that led to the formation across the state then. Another state, luckily, was able to bring on board primary care board in 2015. And since then, we are able now to pull resources together from our partners that support us on health. And everything that needs to be done now, we need a protocol, a system we call primary health care under one roof.
Okay.
Being under one roof now allows coordination to come from a central point at the state level. Now, whatever you have in one local government can be coordinated through the PSC board, and then it will have a similitude of appearance across the local government and across wards in the state. So we have been able to achieve that one very strongly, and to be able to come on board, we even have another source funding, because we know most of the things we talk about when you say primary care is not well grounded is because of post-law funds. Now, the federal government was mandated in that law now to be able to support funding for the PHC. And you and I agree that primary care should not be the headache of the federal government. Neither should the of the state government. It's the baby of the local government, just like primary school education.
Yes.
So we that one now, we all now agree. If you say it's a foundation, and you're going to build your own house on it at the state level, and the federal level, you're going to build your house on it. If the foundation is weak, then there will be burden on the tertiary institution in the year past. You will see somebody having simple case of malaria or diarrhea, they'll be rushing to UCH. But that's not what that one is meant for. It's because the primary care sector
has been comatose.
In a way that will made down. So how can we strengthen it now? Everybody agree that my good is a reflection of your own good. Your strength is a reflection of my own strength. So what should we do? Let's put hands together and support PHC to support local government. So what do they do now? Say, okay, the federal government will reserve minimum of 1% of the total federal revenue, which will now be devolved for the support of the primary care under the basic health care provision funds system. But it's not just a kind of a largesse or for a Christmas gift. The state must show the way with their
counterpart.
It must be a counterpart fund to support that. And in our state, this is what we want to do. Having said that, even the local government might be able to do something along that line. So it's not been a pot. So there'll be a common basket fund through which you can now be able to service PHC. So we've been able to do that one effectively well now at the PHC level now. So we have basic care provision fund now from the federal government. And we have support from the state government. We have support from the local government. And that's what led to the kind of a drastic change we're having now in the primary healthcare sector.
I will come back to that basic healthcare provision fund presently, but I know that I remember that when Governor Seyi Makinde came on board, every of these statements been pointing us to the fact that he would pay attention to primary healthcare provision in the state. I remember that I think immediately he commissioned, activity in the primary healthcare sectors, primary healthcare, facilities across the 351 wards in the state, and awarded some contracts for renovation, for upgrade, and the rest of it. How far have we gone in that, in terms of the physical infrastructure?
Well, thank you. In that physical infrastructure, at least at today we're talking now, about 250 have been completed out of 351. The remaining ones are at different stages of completion, between 30 to 70%, only in about 50 facility in 5 AGA that the work has not commenced fully. But that one, immediately this phase is done now, that's the next phase we are going to now to be able to complete about 52 or 51 facilities that remain now. So far so good. We are hedging close to 300 facilities as at moment now. Like I said, almost 250 have been completed fully. The remaining one are different stages of completion, and that physical structure, I believe within that physical structure that have been completed, about 5 or 4 have been equipped. Just to give a template of what's going to look like. To mention a few of those ones that have been equipped is the one at Ikumapayi in Olodo. We have one at Irifi. Then we have one at Okare. Then Elebu and Udonelewe. Those ones have been equipped to give a kind of semblance of how it's going to look like when the work is completed. So that's the trajectory we are working towards.
Okay, interesting. I've been privileged to be part of conversations, at the level of, this conversation that has been convened regularly by the, JDPC.
Oh.
So I am usually part of the conversation. So I have, a few, peeps into the primary healthcare situation in the state. But I'd like to ask a question about personnel. So we talked about physical infrastructure, 351 ongoing, 250 completed, about 50, still in progress. And then you have some model facilities that you are looking at, seeing whether you can replicate around. You talked about the Kumakpai, Refin, Are, right?
Yes.
Elebu and Odona Elewe. So how about personnel? I know that there was talk about recruitment of 2,000 health workers. What has happened to this plan, really?
I'm even shocked that you know the number we're talking about. I don't know where you're getting your information from. That means you are really part of the narrative. Well, that's quite impressive. You're right. The issue of personnel has been a kind of recurring decimal. And I might be able to tell you for about 2 decades now, we never really had any major recruitment into the health sector. And unfortunately, people are leaving in droves every day, either due to retirement or in search of a greener pasture, like the one you were mentioning this morning. And it has caused a kind of a serious gap in the sector. And that was informed, we even got that one, we did a document we call the minimum service package.
Okay.
With that document, it allowed us to see, we are able to do a gap analysis at the session of this government. We are able to do a kind of a gap analysis. So through that gap analysis, you can see where we are, where we ought to be, then what is the gaps and what can we do.
Okay.
Now, this was actually presented to His Excellency, the Executive Governor of your state, Governor Oshie Makinde. And in his wisdom, he agreed that we can do a gradual correction and fill these gaps in a gradual process. The first thing was to do about 30% of our requirements. And that 30% of our requirements goes about 2,000 plus of 8% across different cadres. And a memo had been submitted on that one. It has been approved that we should commence. And actually, we place adverts. And we were even thinking we were going to place advert for about a month or so. But we found out by the time the advert got a week, we are looking at about 2,000.
Yeah.
And within a week, 17,000 plus people had applied.
Wow.
So we have to close the portal.
You have to close the portal, yeah.
Because the governor instructed that it cannot be a physical collection of forms.
It has to be e-platform.
It has to be e-platform so that nobody can be able to manipulate that one. And then you don't collect money from everybody. It becomes free for everybody to apply. So as at the last count that we closed the portal, about 17,000 people had applied, applicants. And we are going to recruit about 2,000. So that's a huge challenge.
Huge.
So if you now say, well, I've already picked, they will ask you, how did you do it? So we have to go back to His Excellency to approve for us to conduct the exams.
Okay.
So it's after the file is still with him now. It's after we do that exam, those that skate through the first module of the exam, that the one now that will now go for the interview.
Okay.
So we believe in due course, we should be able to get around that course. It's still it's a work in progress. We'll get there.
So when are you going to go to 100%?
Well, like I said, it's involved cost.
Okay.
And you have to be very realistic.
Yeah.
No matter if you know what's stopping us from going for 100%, we can go for it. The best. The Bible will say, you can give a knock to a newly born child, but the consequences is what you may not be able to predict. If you go for 100%, we're not going to kill the government at a go. So we make it a gradual thing now. Not only that angle we are using to engage personnel, through the basic healthcare provision fund as well, we have a provision for human resource component that we engage. Recently, we engaged about 100 midwives to support part of the gap that we have. Again, we engaged about 159 chiefs agents that will support us again in that stride. Recently, there's an advent now again to engage more midwives.
Okay. I was going to ask whether you consider 100 midwives adequate.
It's not adequate. What we want to do, let's assume we need 1,000. And today, we engage one. We can't claim we need 1,000 again.
Okay.
That means we need 999.
Yeah.
So that's the way to go. It's a greater thing. Yesterday, that 100 were not there. Now they're there. And immediately we engage that 100. Recently now, I told you, we have an advert now online for more people to apply and engage more midwives. That's an addition to it. Like I said, it's always be a greater thing. Again, apart from that one, we are even looking forward to engage doctors now.
Okay.
Through the support from, apart from the one we want to engage at the state level, through the support from the MPCDA now, we are looking forward to engage some medical personnel, doctors now, to add to what we have. So it's a process and it's something you can do in tidbits. But if you have been down for the past 5 or 10 years, I'm very sure we could have gone far as of today. So let's start and see how far we can go.
All right. It's still State Affairs on Splash FM 105.5 here in the city of Ibadan. I'm conversing with Dr. Muideen Olatunji, the Executive Secretary of the Oyo State Primary Healthcare Board. He said that the recruitment is in progress, okay, or the process has been kick-started for the medical workers, and particularly talking about the plan to also engage more midwives. Or maybe I should tell you that if you have been trained and you are qualified midwife, so please watch out for that space. I'm talking about the Oyo State Primary Healthcare Board. Okay, so you talked about what are the, what are the challenges that your board is facing so far? I know that funding will be a big matter in this one. What are the other gaps that you are trying to plug in this process?
Well, like I said, funding will have been a big matter, but let me even shock you now that funding, we can't claim to be a serious challenge with us now as of today in Oyo State, as we were saying 5, 10, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Why? Part of the ingenuity and creativity of this government now, the different thing you give an advice to the government, can we do this way? And you see logical and work through it. Now, we've seen that funding has been a major issue. Everybody, you can put up a budget or what we want, and it's not running, especially at the local government level. So this government has now devised a means by which say now, statutorily now, every month from the federal allocation, 7.5% is set aside for running of PHC across the local governments.
Okay.
And this is without the component of the personnel cost, but for programmatic running, 7.5% every month now comes to the board to run PHC. And this is a major relief that we never had before. And part of the support we get from that one is the fact that there is no program now that we want to run at the local government level now in the PHC that will claim that we don't have means to dip and something and be able to run it now. So we run it effectively well now and seamlessly. We don't need to cater to anybody and say, unless what you want to do is not convincing. What's convincing, and you made your request down to the primary care board, fund is made available and is followed through. And part of the strength we're able to gain from now on is the fact that across our PHC now, we're able, either before you get to the facility, they will tell you, oh, we don't have cards, we don't have this, let's buy this now. No, now we made funds available to the facilities, to the AGA, to devolve it to the facilities, and be able to produce all these data tools, the treatment cards, coordination cards, appointment cards. Those ones are available now. So PHC can run effectively well, and we have MIE officers across local governments, so they are the ones to superintend over this one. There's a minimum stock level that the card is depleting now. They can make further requests and get it. I think I've done about 2 requests now, which has been approved for them to be able to do that one now. So unless they don't make a request. So it's the only challenge whoever is the head of the local government, the MOH or PHC coordinator now, to be on top of the game and make sure you see what you're supposed to do and make a proper communication with the board and they'll be able to get the kind of support. Again, every month now we procure drugs which we supply to all the PHCs now, across the local government area. And it fluctuates between the range of between 30 to 80 million every month, depends on what the stock level is. If you have enough now, the next procurement will not be as much as that. But when it goes down, you have to procure more, and depends on the usage that you able to make it available.
Can I ask Nigerians, particularly people who live in Oyo State, to corroborate what you're saying here?
Feel free.
So your board is very rich now. so much money.
Not very rich, but somehow, no, not very rich, but somehow comfortable than what we used to be before now. With that, we have something to work with now. That's what we can talk about.
Is that why you are not, you have not accessed this year the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund?
No, I'm even telling you, I said part of the strength we have is the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund now. We've assessed the fund, and the assessment of the fund does not limit, it doesn't begin and end with us.
Okay.
Now, there's a gap in the access to the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. It's a last year fund that we've been disbursed now. Even after the fund is disbursed to you, you must do a proper retirement before the subsequent ones will be disbursed. As of today, nobody has received for the current year the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund.
Okay.
And then that money, it passes through the primary care board and goes directly to the facility.
Okay.
We call it DFF, Direct Facility Funding. So the money goes to each of the facility on the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund system. And those are the one we call the ward facilities. We had flagship facility in each of the political wards. Those are the one government is renovating now. So those ones that are renovating are the one we designate as the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund facility. So they have their own separate account, and which is controlled by the officer in charge and the community leader, and the money comes from the board straight to their account. They can only spend it based on their business plan that they've been able to develop and have been approved. So that one, operation of that one is at the facility level, not even with the equivalences from the local government anybody whatsoever. But the facility that have to decide how they want to do that one. So we are getting better than how we used to be.
Okay, so that element that you mentioned is also one of the queries that I thought we should bring to the table. I want to talk about communities' involvement, then these funds that you're talking about, the transparency and accountability elements in the management of the funds for me. But before I go there, I know that there are, we need to talk about community involvement. particularly to plug this gap by, engaging the medical personnel in the diaspora to, more like a coalesce with the ones at home for engagement, for training, for interaction and all that to help the sector in Nigeria. But the National Assembly is trying to bring up a bill. In fact, it has passed for second reading. What do you think about this? Should medical doctors be, kept at home for at least 5 years before they are allowed to japa? That's the term.
Well, I think is on a delicate balance where you need to go. Either you want to think about the hen coming first or the egg. If you look at those that are proposing this, it's because of the serious challenge that we have now, a state of emergency, whereby every single person is leaving the country in droves. And to any rational leader, it's a great cause for concern. If every single person leaves this country, then who are those that will take care of those that will be remaining? And we said we don't have, as of today, we just discussed now that we don't have enough human resource. But it's not that people are not trained. We have so many nurses, so many community health officers, community extension workers. They are being trained every year and being, churned out from training institutions. But the question is this: how well are we engaging them? So we're not engaging them. So if they are redundant in the country and they're not gainfully employed, then water will find its level so they can emigrate and get to where they can be gainfully employed. Now, so much attention is focused on doctors because the doctor leaves the pack. They're the leader of the team and they give the dictate on how things will work. But I look beyond the doctors. I would say all health personnel, they are living in, because those that have advanced the argument that the country invested in us is very, very correct. It's the truth. Facts are sacred, comment are free. The truth is that how much government is investing to train every cadre of health personnel is huge. It's only that of doctors is much. Now, the country has invested so much, but somebody else is reaping the reward. Go to Europe, go to America, you have nearly minted doctors, nurses, and they are there, providing their trade. Now, the question is this: who should be blamed? Should it be those countries or you that doesn't know what to do with what you have as human resource? I think it's the country. One, have you properly engaged them? Have you given them the right condition to operate? Did you have a conducive work environment? Apart from those ones, go beyond the confine of the comforts of the health or the health practitioner themselves. Look at the whole country as a whole. Do we have the securities in the country? Do we have good living, standard of living? You are talking about doctors. You're not talking about accountants. You're not talking about engineers. You're not talking about lawyers. Everybody is leaving the country, all professionals you can mention now. So I see the issue of the doctor as the tip of the iceberg, just a representation of the rot in the system. So if you now legislate that doctors should not leave, I agree with you. But are you ready to legislate that every person that went through the confine of the institution in Nigeria should never leave the country, no matter what your career? Now, if you retain them, can you engage them? If in the years past, before you leave university, what job is waiting for you? And not only waiting for you, you have something commendable that you can work with that can give you the release of life. Now, do we have the same thing? If I am a doctor now, and my child is in school, and I cannot make up to pay the tuition of my child, the school child will say, after all, your father is a doctor. They expect high expectation in the society from me.
But are doctors that poor in this country?
They are poor relatively with the social stratum that they belong to, compare with their contemporary, what is expected of them. They are actually poor. And I like one woman you called today, she mentioned something like that. She said, you must do relativity when you talk about people living in the country, that you must treat Nigerian country within Nigerian context. Okay. That what you are doing for them now, the living standard they are living, how are they coping? I think she was talking like a mother.
Yeah.
Is that ideal for them to live? That's within this area that I'm living in now. But take it beyond this. Even here, to train as a doctor, how much do I spend? So little or nothing. It's like a free. And now I agree, on conscience level, that government has invested so much in me, they should be able to give back to the government. I agree, you can bond the doctor, let them stay. But what about other cadres of professionals? What have we done about them? So it's not only to demonize doctors and pick them alone. Everybody is leaving. Then why don't we now address the reason why they are now leaving? Once we address that issue, do you think anybody will be happy to go to another man's land and become a second-class citizen? You cannot be to the peak of your career. You cannot be the best you ever wanted in your life. But if you are here and everything's working for you, in the 70s or 60s, you train in America, you train in the UK, you don't wish to stay back, you come back to your country. What has changed? Why are people saying they don't want to stay in those countries, that they want to come back here? So if we make the same condition repeat itself now, we can live in the same condition now. I'm very sure nobody will want to go. I want to be here and see you, I'm a friend, and I relate with you. And I can do my social gathering and I enjoy myself and have the best of life. Unlike when I will go to a life that will be confined, I will be forced to live a solitary life. Social norms is nothing unless you're on the other extreme. So I think everybody can have the best of life living in this country than go to another country. That's the truth.
A country that wants to bond medical workers to the country for at least 5 years before they have full license to operate anywhere they like. The last time I checked, I think in the 2022 budget, the federal government's budget, health got less than 5%.
And WHO recommends 15%.
The Abuja Declaration.
That's what I said. Yeah. Have you done your own path? Provide all the well with that. Then let's see whether things will not fight its own level.
The argument has been there's no money. There are no funds. Even the budget they are borrowing to fund the budget.
If there are no funds, and that means there's no fund to service me, then why must you cage me? It shows the country is not thinking right. And it's so sad enough that you invest, get my word right from the beginning, to make me who I am. You invest so much in me. Now you need to sit back and reap the reward of your investment. You now say, oh, I've done so much for you, but I don't think I need you again. It's your stupidity, not me. Then I live for where else I can have means of life. Why should you not complain? I agree. Every doctor trained in Nigeria should be bonded from 5 or 10 years before, so that they can stay here and give back to the society what the society gave into them. Now, let's flip it over now. Let's say today, no doctor leaves the country. Now, the question is this: how many have been gainfully employed? When we trained and we left school, it doesn't cost us. I was even trying to cherry pick where I want to do my house job. Now, people are on queue to have placement for their housemanship. And yet, after that, you want them to stay. When I wanted to pick up employment, I left one for the other. I was choosing where I want to work because everybody, they want me. Now, doctors are on queue looking for employment everywhere. So if they've been trained and 2 years passed and they've not been fully employed, only looking for one locum or the other to do and get peanuts, and a friend of his is in America or is in the UK and say, come over, you have the best of life, you think that person will stay? Come on. Nobody does that. So the country must provide the enabling environment for us to stay and make it lucrative, that to live become not attractive to any person again. Nobody wants to live as a slave. You want to live as a freeborn, as a confident that I get the peak of your career, and you can achieve your fulfillment in life. But when you say they should not go, the question is this: are you prepared to? And you just said it now. Minimum of Abuja Declaration says minimum of 50% should be allocated for health. So far, the federal government are done. I'm not even sure it's up to 5%. The last one I checked was about 4.5%.
It was 4.5%.
Now, if you are spending that much, it's like a computer. It's garbage in and garbage out. It's what you invested that you're going to get. So you have not been able to invest. You have not been able to take care of them. And you want to stay. Stay for what? The question is this. Everybody needs to answer. I'm not saying they should not legislate, but let's answer that question. So once they're able to answer that question in a convincing manner, then you don't need to force anybody who will stay.
The argument has always been, if the people in government, are also prevented from going abroad to access health, they probably will pay more attention to health facilities. I remember that, in the 50s and 60s, it was said that the Saudi royalty was coming to UCH here for treatment.
It's a fact, not a story, not a fables. It's a story, it's a fact. And not even now and again, when you go to UCH to get treatment, as an inpatient there, you have all the comfort. I remember in 78 or so, I broke my hand. I broke my hand and I was at UCH. I was to be attended to, but I couldn't get attention because the orthopedic that will fix the cast was busy in the clinic. So it was late in the evening before I got attended. So I had to stay in the ward to wait for the doctor in the ward. By the time they were serving inpatients, I was served as well.
Okay.
And then you have a beautiful, nice, well-cooked beans with a whole fish on top of your food. So if you are sick, they want to discharge you. You tell the doctor, please don't discharge me.
You want to fall sick.
You want to fall sick. To let you know what country we had then. But do you still have the same country now? Once upon a time, there was a country.
Oh, wow. We have a caller here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
For the guest you invited this morning.
You didn't tell me your name, sir. What's the name?
I'm like Chief Sulaiman Oladipo Bolanewa from Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
On our government. You see, without mincing words, the House of Reps who are trying to make a lot to bomb doctors. They are just trying to expose themselves to ridicule. Because have they got solution to ASU strike? Let me tell you a single example of how they want to ridicule themselves. You see, a cousin of mine is a patriotic Nigerian. I can say it's category. I don't want to name name. A patriotic Nigerian.
Okay.
When he was commenting about ASU strike, when everybody was saying ASU strike is okay, he condemned it. But later I came to realize that ASU strike badly affected him. Look at a patriotic Nigerian who said, I said why? He said, look, his own son, I think this son is under 20. Will have graduated about 2 years ago, but because of ASU strike, that boy is I'm sure the boy will soon graduate now since the ASU suspended their strike.
All right.
You can imagine that.
Okay.
Somebody who is pathetic, whose son will have graduated 2 years ago. At that age.
All right. Thank you.
How can you now make a law? Do you want to? Make them safe.
All right, thank you.
I'm happy that your grace has given a very good condition.
Thank you very much.
A friend of him will invite him overseas to say, come out. And even they are not safe. They are not, because they have been granted their pension. They serve the reasonable number of years. They will be enjoying their pension. How would they not go?
All right, thank you very much for calling, sir. Thank you very much. Well, you'd like to join the conversation. There's time enough for more calls on the program. So before I let the Executive Secretary, your State Primary Healthcare Board leave, I just thought to ask him for what next from what we have now, and where do we want to go, and how do we intend to get there? That's the question I'll ask him. Let's see who's here now. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning and welcome to State Affairs. What's the name?
My name is Chief Adegboyega Yusuf.
Yes, sir.
I'm calling from Elebu. I was surprised most time whenever I'm going home, maybe 2-3 years ago, I do see a lot of people on that Elebu hospital, or is it health center or whatever. Because I was surprised. Government hospital, a lot of people do patronize it nowadays. I was surprised. What could have been the cost? So a friend of mine had told me, they have a lot of maybe drugs, equipment in that hospital. And to shock me, that should be sometimes November or December. A wife friend was taken to that hospital. You know, I was just coming home. I was called there. He told me the wife is at the Elebu health center. I was surprised. Why would you take your wife to government hospital? He said, that place is more better now. You know, and most time whenever I do go home, you still see them 9 p.m. I was surprised. What is happening? So probably maybe there is a new turnaround in the health sector. Maybe that's why. But at least in the past 2-3 years, there has been improvement. There has been maybe attitude changes. Yes, at least. Maybe kudos to the executive secretary, the governor. You know, whenever there is a will of doing something, that will be the way. Maybe both of them, the governor, the state government.
All right, thank you.
They have the will. They want. There is a change. There is a change. No doubt about that.
Thank you very much.
Lovely day.
Thank you very much, Chief Adegbuega Yusuf there. All right, would you like to join the conversation? Please do. 0809 155 1055, 0805 699 8678, and 0706 949 3000. Those are the numbers. Timothy Okorie, Chris Ngige is a disappointment as far as I'm concerned. How can he say that we have more than enough doctors in Nigeria while it is not so? The truth is that majority of the best doctors in Nigeria have gone abroad to reside permanently due to maladministration going in the country, especially in the health sector. Nigeria is in trouble. Why do you say that? Okay. Ojo Ayodeji Akinkumi, I will attend to your comment in a moment. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to State Affairs. What's the name, please?
My name is Elisha. I'm calling from Akobo.
Michael, right?
Elisha.
Okay, Elisha.
Yeah. I'm calling from Akobo.
Yes, sir.
I think it is very interesting and beautiful that the House of Rep will focus only on medical doctors. I think right about now, if you look at what's happening across Europe and the UK, you see the opportunities for other professionals to migrate is abounding. You have opportunities for teachers to migrate. You have opportunities for healthcare assistants. You have opportunities for other health professionals. You know, so it shows that the world is becoming more globalized. So if you want to focus on one profession, that's actually very interesting and very funny. You know, and I think it's actually ridiculous. What the government should be focusing on is how to improve the health sector in a multidimensional way. How do you increase funding? How do you increase welfare packages for health professionals? Rather than focusing on how to bond them and to make them to be subject to serving their country. I think the world has progressed beyond that. And what we should be focusing on is how to improve the health systems. You know, so I think that's what they should focus on now. Because the truth is that if you do that and you say, oh, education has been so subsidized, education has been subsidized for everybody. Whether you're a teacher, whether you're an engineer, education has been subsidized for you. So to focus on only doctors is actually very ridiculous.
All right, thank you very much, Elisha. Thank you. To focus on medical doctors is ridiculous. But you understand that medical doctors take more time, you know, in school. And then, you know, if you have to pay for medical sciences, you know, someone to go to medical sciences in private university in Nigeria, you know how much they will pay, don't you?
Yes, I'm aware of that. Now, if you are going to do that, are you going to do that bond for only public schools, or you are going to do that for private schools as well? Because the truth is that if people have the opportunities to go elsewhere, people have the opportunity to go to Benin Republic, people have the opportunity to go to Cameroon to go and study. And if they are not careful, you will find that more young people will be exploring their opportunities in other African countries to study. They know that they are going to be bonded by studying in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you very much.
Elisha, they're calling. All right. Akikumi here. Ojo Ayodeji Akinkumi, as much as the brain drain is affecting the health sector, systems strengthening should be their focus and not holding people back. Yeah. As a medical doctor myself, I believe the politicians are just being lazy to do a proper search for solutions to the root cause of the issues. What of the unintended consequences of implications in the other sectors? Will they claim to have subsidized training for those that finished in private schools, whose numbers are also growing by the day? Will they make similar laws for adjunct healthcare services like physiotherapists, nurses, lab scientists? What will the fate of the other professions be when they hit a deplorable state too and begin exodus in the numbers? I would expect a call on critical stakeholders and have a bottom-up approach in fixing this rather than the authoritarian manner they want to adopt. It's public knowledge that a lot of new trainees are already looking outside of clinical practice. This will further push the numbers. Also, as a parent, I would rather my child goes to school in a neighboring country like Ghana, where his career dreams won't be tied down for 5 years because the system refuses to be fixed. That's an alarming angle to this matter, that people could therefore be circumventing the system by going to study medicine in Ghana, in Cotonou, and the rest of it. You have raised a very valid point. Dr. Muhyiddin Olatunji, Executive Secretary, your State Primary Healthcare Board. I'll ask you to react to that. Is it possible that people might be circumventing the system, so rather than study medicine in Nigeria because of this provision?
Well, it will only be for those that have the will with that, to be honest with ourselves. People are already doing it now. If you can afford, for instance, he said, as a strike, delay longer the time stay in universities.
Yes, sir.
So if you can afford it, you go to a private university and you finish in record time. But those that could not afford it will stay back. The only opportunity, I think, one of the best things this system are giving to us is that my father is a farmer, my mother is a peasant seller. I can still get and become a doctor and get to the best I can be in the country. Because why? The system supports somebody like me. Imagine. Now, if that being the case, now can the child of that farmer afford to go to Ghana, go to America, or go to Benin to get trained? They will still be trained here. What we are saying is that don't limit their potentials, don't put blockade in their career progression and successes life. What we need to do is look inward, correct why people are leaving, make Nigeria better today. Let the exchange rate get improved. There will be improved security. Let all the infrastructure be working. Now, let's see who would now want to go back and stay in America. Let's see if people in the U.S. will not be coming back here. In the 70s, we have expatriates coming to work in Nigeria in that ring road hospitals. We have a lot of whites working there. They left their country, come and work in Nigeria State. But when the system collapsed, they left. Now, our own system has collapsed now. What we need to do is to either sell the scraps, get a new one, but just rejig the system. When the system is working, you don't need any legislation. Even government will make more money. You can impose some tax, get some avenue to make money, expand the tax net, everybody. More fund will be in the country. We don't need to legislate over such. So let people come in, let the government do the needful. For instance now, Tinubu said if he comes on power, he's going to introduce student loan.
Yes.
If that one is introduced, and you now say, so people should pay for tuition, you've already solved the problem because students does not need to go back to their parents and get money.
So they can take a loan, pay back after.
When they start working, and provided there's a provision for it as well, you must employ me.
Yes.
In the UK, if you grant me student loan, and I finish, and the loan says I'll pay back maybe 5,000 naira per month, and I'm doing a job that doesn't go beyond 10,000, I won't pay anything back. I must be able to do a job that will allow me to take 2/3 of my salary home, and 1/3 can be used to settle the debt. So if the government doesn't give me a job that will pay that, the government has lost. So if you introduce government student loan, you do it with all the conditionality and make life better for everybody.
All right.
So what we need to do is to improve the system, rejig it, then let's see whether people will leave the country. Everybody will stay back and make the country work.
Let's come back to your state now, particularly the primary healthcare particle of the health sector. Are we where we want to be?
No. We are not where we ought to be now.
So what next for us?
We had moved from where we were.
Okay.
And we are on the road to Canaan now. To be sure, we are traversing the wilderness, and we are soon going to get to the land of Canaan, and we are going to be where we were supposed to be. And that's part of what we are doing now. In the past, we talk about system strengthening, institutional building. primary care facilities, like somebody mentioned, they're calling now from Elebu. I know. He said he could not believe it as a government hospital that you are going to go. And to be honest with you, some facilities before, even you not even allow your dog to take deliveries there. But now, everybody can go to those facilities because, let's say, we know it is rotten. What do we do? Can we do structural reengineering?
Yeah.
We've done that one now. The next phase we want to go to now, we're going to start doing the equipping. You had during the last 1 or 2 months, the government not even mentioned that there's a loan grant from French government.
Yeah.
That the design of that loan is to be able to support the tertiary institution, the secondary institution, and primary healthcare facilities by equipping them.
Okay.
Now, if you get that one off the shelf, something has done. And I just told you now, we're trying to engage personnel. It's not even 100% of what we need. It's 30% of what we need now. That is a step in the right direction. That means we are going towards the promised land gradually. So when we get there, and we know Eldorado will actually come to where we're supposed to be, but it will not be able to get there if you are still in a state of inertia. We have been able to kickstart it now. Let's see how much we can go and get it done. And part of the process is what we are doing now.
All right. Thank you very much for coming, sir. I've been speaking with Dr. Olatunji. Muideen Olatunji is the Executive Secretary of the Oyo State Primary Healthcare Board. Thank you for coming once again.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, it's State Affairs on Splash FM 105.5. A commercial break. When I come back, I'll talk politics. Please don't go away.
Splash FM 105.5.
Are you satisfied with the level of your sales? Would you want to increase your customer base? Why not come do business with us at Splash FM 105.5 and we will help expose your products, goods and services to our audience. Visit us today at our corporate head office, White House at Felele Ibadan, or call Tokwe on 0805 699 8685. Bukola on 0805 699 8713. Femi 0811 249 4234. You can also transact business at our Lagos office, number 1 Adebayo Akonde Center, Oba Akran Road, Ikeja, Lagos. Call Yetunde on 0805 699 86 or email us at traffic@splashfm105.5.com. You would be glad to do business with us.
The biggest question you ask yourself before you purchase any property is the property genuine or not? That's why Tokwe Edwards Realty Company Limited will help you to identify and tie up all loose ends before you buy your property and guarantee full security on the property. At Tokwe Edwards Realty Company Limited, we know that the reason people lose their property in land disputes is often due to improper identification and handling of these loose ends. With Tokwe Edwards Realty Company Limited, you can rest easy knowing that we'll guide you through your property purchase process. And if for any reason we fail to deliver on our promise, we'll refund your money in full. Don't wait until it's too late. Contact us today on 0809-842-3000. Visit our office at 2nd floor, Dickard House, Ring Road, Ibadan. Tokwe Edward Realty Company Limited. Happiness, freedom, and peace of mind.
Countdown 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get the vibe, get the bus. Feel the music. On your ready. Splash, the height of entertainment.
It is still State Affairs on Splash FM 105.5 this day, the 8th of April, 2023. I just had that session with the Executive Secretary of the Oyo State Primary Healthcare Board here. Let's do politics, shall we? And I have in the house the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Oyo State in the just concluded governorship election of the 18th of March, 2023. Alhaji Taufik Akinwale, that's the name. Good morning and welcome to State Affairs today.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being here.
It's good to have you.
Yes.
Let's talk about your candidature in that election. First of all, give your impression of the election.
As far as I'm concerned, I give thanks to Almighty God who gave the opportunity for me to come out in the first instance. And I was able to bill on grant, and I stood my grant that I am going to contest the election, despite the fact that there are so many odds that could impede me to, contest that election. I give thanks to God, and I have to also thank the people of Oyo State for the opportunity, especially those people that voted for me. And equally, I want to use this medium to congratulate the INEC declared winner in person of Engineer Sheyi Makinde at the polls. And my impression about this just concluded election was still the same old story that we used to talk about elections in Nigeria, that characterized with so many, irregularities and things that are, serving as impediment to a free, fair, and just election. Especially this year, at this election, that's a little bit of innovation, bad innovation for that matter. You could revert to it as a good innovation if it pays you. Bad innovation in the sense that I've never, had it, or I've never witnessed it, that the candidate of a party will stand to contest an election, and some of the executives of the same party will pitch their tents with another candidate of another party.
But that's not new, is it?
It's new. If you can cite another, if you cite an instance, if it's not new. So it is a new thing. So in essence, what I'm saying is that what we used to have is that if there's going to be like a kind of coalition, it should be something that will come from the heart of the candidates and willingly give it free for coalition. But in a situation where you go through the back door, you snap somebody at the back, it's a very strange situation as far as I'm concerned.
You are alleging here that your party stabbed you in the back, right?
It is not about allegation. It is about reality, what came about, what transpired. When a number of people came around and said that pitching their tent with an incumbent. It is not an allegation again. It is something that played out.
Are you claiming that you were not part of the alliance?
I'm not
or the
claiming.
coalition?
It was all over. I write a rejoinder. I was here even talking about it. I stand for the election and I contest the election. And I indeed contested the election. So it is not about claiming. That is why it's an aberration. It has never happened in the history of politics that the party chairman and a number of people will come on board and say they collapse their structure into another party. More so, the reason why we exist was because we have told the people of the state or Nigeria that two major parties cannot give Nigerians what they needed, that we are the alternatives, the viable alternative. And it is very absurd to, at the end of the day, now saying you are collapsing your structure to that party that you have criticized so badly. I think it's not unthinkable. So that's exactly why there's a new thing to me in politics. And I asked you, if you have seen such in history of politics, I would like you to probably update me so that I can know that it's not a new thing. So that's exactly the experience. And I thank God that I passed through all these hurdles, all these hurdles, whatever you call it. I passed through them. I stood for the election. I contested to the glory of God.
All right. So you contested to the glory of God. And one big question for me is you are giving us the impression that it's unprecedented and that a party will be collapsing its structure for another candidate when that party indeed has its own candidate and the candidate will not be carried along. Are you aggrieved essentially because you didn't share from the spoils, right?
In the first instance, I made it clear to the public and to the party executives and members that I was standing in for the election, and I was there to contest the election, and that was just my position. I think this is what informed the people that did what they did. That, he has a very high, is an hardliner on this thing, that he was prepared to contest the election. Okay, let's go through the back door to, outsmart him. So it wasn't about sharing of anything. In the first instance, I had no notion and I have no intention whatsoever that I am going to probably collapse or probably step down for any candidate. I was all the way criticizing all the incumbents and telling them things that I'm going to do better than the incumbent. It will be very, very unsound of me to, at the end of the day, and that is integrity. Now, decided to now align myself with that institution or that system that I've criticized so much. And that's all. I have no integrity. But because I have integrity, I have to stood my ground. I have to insist that no, I'm going to contest this election. And see, it's not about not giving me from whatever. I don't even care. They know it. In fact, there are advances. If you don't know, apart from that of the scenario of the party, I was offered 250 million and position of commissioner. I declined. I said, I'm going to contest this election.
Who offered you 250 million naira?
Somebody they sent to me. They know the person.
Who are who sent somebody to you?
I don't know, but this is what they offered me.
They offered you 250 million
exactly,
naira.
And the person is listening to me now.
And you rejected it, right?
I will have to reject it because I'm principled man. I am a very principled man.
250 million
exactly.
naira.
I have no problem with that.
Alhaji Taufik Akinwale, we're not talking about 250,000 naira.
I have no problem about that. Money is not an issue. Money is something anybody who does not know about money is something that always come around to stain you and it will go. And that money will not sustain you for the rest of your life. But it has come to just, slash your image and you go. So you have to be careful about money. That was why I rejected it. I rejected the position too. Let me tell you, if I collected that money, National Party will hear about it and they will request for their own share, which is going to be 50%.
Oh, who told you that they will request for their share?
I'm aware. I am aware.
Oh, so all the other deals
I'm aware.
that they did.
That is what they do.
So that all the other deals that they did across the nation, they shared money, right?
I am just telling you. I am telling you the reason why I personally stood my ground that I'm going to contest the election was because I do not consider money as priority. I consider service to humanity, and that is why I went to go and contest, for the election. And if I had to take the money, then there's no point for me telling anybody or the people of Oyo State that I have a better program. So because I have better program, I felt that if the opportunity was given to me, I'll be able to now, showcase myself as a very unique, leader and somebody who knows his onions, who is experienced, who has what it takes to move Oyo State forward than what we have it.
All right, it's still State Affairs on Splash FM 105.5 here in the city of Ibadan. Alhaji Taufik Akinwale, Labour Party candidate in the just concluded governorship election in Oyo State, is here with me. You said that you were offered 250 million naira and you decided to stand your ground. And you thought that you had a better program for the people of Oyo State. But you had 1,500 votes.
Thank you very much.
Wasn't it better for you to have taken the money rather than go that far when you knew that you couldn't even stand the heat?
Thank you very much. The election was allocated. It was not the election that the votes they gave to me.
Who allocated the election?
They know how they allocated it. That night, I was in the INEC office by 12 midnight. I was expecting that they will be counting our votes from different local governments. It was all over the news. I was there by 12 noon. But when I got there, they said they are not counting any votes now. That they even told them 9 before, later told them 10. And that they've shifted it to the money again. And on earth, where do you see that kind of election? We did not vote at the same time in different local governments. Even when you are looking or expecting the votes from the other local government, what about the North? They should be counting that one. But in a situation where they brought all the votes at the same time, you should fill in the gap. They're trying to, put the figures.
Alhaji Taufik Akinwale,
they're trying to put the figures. So I want to assure you, I want to tell you something that is very, very important that you should be, aware of. Is that in the election that we held, even when people celebrated it more than anything, they know themselves that they organized it.
Okay, so the question for me is, you are making all these claims on the program here. But I'd like you to tell Nigerians, do you even understand the electoral process? I mean, the chain of events on election day leading to the announcement of results. Do you understand it?
You asked this question from me. I am not a baby politician.
Okay, explain to me.
I don't need this. I don't want to explain to you because it's a child, very, very childish question. Okay. And it's a question that I need not to put all my attention. You're asking a whole gubernatorial candidate the process of an election.
Yeah.
It is also something I need to, skip.
Okay.
Because I think I have to respect myself.
Okay, so can I tell you why I asked that question?
I don't know.
You said they were supposed to count the votes at the local governments. But by the electoral process, they were supposed to sort and count the votes at the polling unit, write the votes on, the forms, paste the votes, the results on the wall at the polling unit, upload it using the beavers to the IRF portal. That is the process. And you were saying they're supposed to count the vote at the local government.
Are you telling me when they got to the collation center at the INEC office, they don't put all the figures together?
Oh, okay. So
is that not what I'm talking about?
So is that what you mean by counting the votes?
Exactly. Now, from different local government, you brought, all those votes.
Is that counting or collation?
This is the same thing as collation.
Oh, no.
It's the same thing.
No.
As collation.
Alhaji Akinwale,
you bring them to collation center.
Oh, okay. So
it's collation center.
Okay, so
you see counts there at the collation center.
You count at the polling.
Of course, sure.
Do they take the ballot papers to the collation center?
No. What do I mean by that is that different local governments, they will sum up all of them, they will present what they brought from different local governments, and they will sum up all of them and they announce the overall winner.
Okay, so is summing up counting?
As a matter of fact, they are supposed to have this recorded on the beavers right from there, but it was not done. It was later they uploaded it. Yes.
At the time that we were monitoring the election, by around the evening of the election day, quite a substantial amount of the results have been uploaded.
The evening of the election?
Yes.
The evening?
Yes.
See. I've uploaded?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, the State Affairs on Splash FM 105.5 here in the city of Ibadan. I have a commercial break. Please don't go away.
Splash FM 105.5.
So special to us, golden morn. So special to us. I cannot go a day without this goodness in a bowl, giving energy to make it stay golden. Golden morn. So special to us.
Hello.
Ọ̀rẹ́, ṣé o wà nílé?
Mo wà l'Abuja, máa dé lọ́sẹ̀ tó ń bọ̀.
Àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ẹnìkan ló wá mójútó ilé epo ẹ̀. Wọ́n á ṣe é léṣe. Ẹsẹ̀ tèmi kì í wọ́n nílé epo mi. Lórí èmi ń tèmi, kó wó pé ni o.
Kò sí fòyà ọ̀rẹ́ mi. Gbogbo fuel pump tó wà nílé epo mi pátá ni mo ti fi e-pump sí. Mo ń mọye jálá epo tí mò ń tà lójúmọ́. Iye oníbàárà mi àti àkókò tọ́jà mi ń tà jù lójúmọ́. Kódà mo lè ṣe àyípadà sí iye owó ọjà látòrí dashboard mi bí yìí kó sì hàn lórí pọ́ǹpù kankan lọ́hùn. Ṣé wàá rí i pé èmi gangan ni kówó pé?
Ọ̀rẹ́, ó nà ọ́ mí.
Ìwọ náà ra e-pump sáwọn fuel pump ẹ̀. E-pump ń ṣiṣẹ́ dójú àmì. Owó rẹ̀ ò sì gani lára. Láti béèrè fún tiẹ̀ pè sórí 0913-104-8999 tàbí 0803-609-6226. Website www.epump.africa.
E-pump kówó pé ni o.
Ẹ̀kọ́ lọ́dún ni oṣù ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ni máa wáyé tọ́dún yìí tí ó bá mi láyé tó dùn èmi ń dúpẹ́.
alihamdulilayi adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́run ọba àlá tó fún wa láǹfààní àwẹ̀ tọdún yìí. ẹ kú ti mọ̀ pé lọ́dọọdún ni ìkànnì Splash FM àti Lágẹ̀lú FM máa ń ṣàgbékalẹ̀ wáàsí ọ̀rọ̀ ọlọ́run tó fi máa gbékalẹ̀ ìdíje àlùkùránì kíké ọjọ́ ṣẹ́gun Tuesday ọjọ́ 11 oṣù kẹrin ọdún tá a wà yìí 11th April 2023 nítorí yìí máa wáyé o ní gbọ̀ngàn jọ́gọ̀ yẹn jọ́gọ̀ event center tí ń bẹ nílùú Ìbàdàn láago 9 òwúrọ̀ 9 a.m. prompt oníwàásí ọjọ́ náà ni Sheikh Muhyiddin Ajani Bello oníwàásí àgbáyé.
alága ọjọ́ náà ni High Chief Nureni Akabi àrólé ibà Olúyọ̀lé Ìbàdàn mother of the day Chief Mrs. Bọ́ládé Adéribigbe CEO Bọ́ládé Travels nígbà tí spiritual father of the day jẹ́ Sheikh Alhaji Abdulganiyu Abubakar agbọ́tọmọ kékeré ìmáàmù àgbàlẹ̀ Ìbàdàn orí adé ń kalẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ náà ni ọba Khalid Ọlábísí Oyèníyì Ọ̀kẹ́rẹ́ ti Ṣakí nígbà tí àwọn ẹni àyẹ́sí pàtàkì jẹ́ Alájà Olóyè Tafikat Babayẹmí CEO Palm 77 Hotel tó fi dórí Chief Mrs. Alhaja Rọ́mọkẹ́ Àyìndé Keromli Dr. Mrs. Victoria Samson CEO Bovas Nigeria Limited tó fi dórí ìyàwó Olóyè Mutioyo Aláṣọ́nlú Ìbàdàn Alhaja Bọ́lá Ológbùrò àti Alhaji Abdulwahab Adékúnlé Amex Construction bákan náà ni Alhaji Waiki Abbas Babalọ́jà General ti ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ náà ní gbẹ̀yìn àwọn ẹni àyẹ́sí pàtàkì lẹ́ẹ̀kan ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àti káàkiri àgbáyé ni a máa gbórí wọlé síbi wáàsí ìta gbangba kan ní Splash FM àti Lágẹ̀lú FM.
olùgbàlejò àgbà ọjọ́ náà ni High Chief Adébáyọ̀ Àkàndé MFR ẹ̀karùn Olúbàdàn tilẹ̀ Ìbàdàn àti màmá wa Chief Mrs. Oníkẹ́pọ̀ Àkàndé CON 2 times ministers. Ramadan lecture àti àṣekágbà ìdíje Al-Quran kéké ti Splash FM àti Lágẹ̀lú FM April 11 ọdún yìí ni ó wáyé o ní Jọ́gọ̀ Center Ìbàdàn ẹ má ṣàlàyé wá.
iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná a máa fúnni ní ìmọ́lẹ̀ a sì máa mú ìdẹ̀rùn wá láti wá dènà ìjàmbá iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná ojúlówó wáyà tàbí kébù ló yẹ ká fi fa iná nínú ilé lọ́fíìsì àti nínú ìlú Pure wires and cables ní àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ mọ̀nàmọ́ná àti àwọn agbaṣẹ́ṣe yàn láàyò ojúlówó ni kì í bó lára kò kì í jóná àbáàdì kì í kán sínú ó sì fini lọ́kàn balẹ̀ ìdí nìyí tí Standard Organization of Nigeria fi fòǹtẹ̀tẹ̀ tí Nigeria Electrical Contractors náà fi dìbò fún bí copper cable ṣe wà ní aluminium cable ń bẹ nípele lówó tí kò gún pa Pure wires and cables tó jẹ́ ọ̀kan lára àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ kaman ló ṣe ojúlówó wires and cable jáde. Olú iléeṣẹ́ Pure Wires and Cables Limited wà ní Afrin's Compound, Fort Gate, number 122/132, Oṣòdì Apapa Expressway, Ìyànà Ìsọlọ̀ bus stop, Lagos. Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn ní 080-803-03257. Pure Wires and Cables. Ìrọ̀rùn fi iná mọ̀nàmọ́ná.
This world is not my home.
With gratitude to God, the entire Adeshun Ogundoyin family of Erua announces the glorious home call of our loving mother, Chief Mrs. Justina Iyabo Ogundoyin, globally known as Yeye Tina Ogundoyin, the Iyaloja General of Ibarapa land, Yeyelua of Erua, and the Are Iyalode of Ibadan land in her lifetime. Yeye Tina answered the ultimate call on the 26th day of March 2023 at the age of 63. Burial arrangements are as follow. Christian wake will come up on Wednesday, 12th April at St. Joseph Catholic Church, Okeado, Ibadan by 4 p.m. to be followed by lining stage on Thursday, 13th April at Orioke Ogundoyin, Erua by 5 p.m. while burial service will take place on Friday, 14th April at Ilerua Stadium, Erua, Oyo State by 10 a.m. prompt. Interment follows immediately at Ogundoyin Vault at Detoro Estate, Erua, and reception will cap it up at Deck Hall, Erua. Yeye Tina Ogundoyin, sleep on till we meet to part no more. Announcers, the entire Ogundoyin family.
Are you in need of a nice and comfortable, fully furnished hostel accommodation in the University of Ibadan? Or are you in search of a place for seminars and executive trainings? Look no further. Adebayo Akonde Hall is the go-to place for your lodging needs with a home away from home feel. Adebayo Akonde Hall is a 4-star hostel built in a serene environment with constant supply of electricity. It has fully furnished rooms that gives you great comfort at an affordable price. Adebayo Akonde Hall is located at Ajibode Extension, University of Ibadan. For inquiries and reservations, visit www.adebayohall.com or call 080-5699-8718 or 080-5699-8719 or 080-5699-8720. Adebayo Akonde Hall. Built for comfort. Built for you.
The biggest question you ask yourself before you purchase any property is the property genuine or not? That's why Tokwe Edwards Realty Company Limited will help you to identify and tie up all loose ends before you buy your property and guarantee full security on the property. At Tokwe Edwards Realty Company Limited, we know that the reason people lose their property in land disputes is often due to improper identification and handling of these loose ends. With Tokwe Edwards Realty Company Limited, you can rest easy knowing that we'll guide you through your property purchase process. And if for any reason we fail to deliver on our promise, we'll refund your money in full. Don't wait until it's too late. Contact us today on 0809-842-3000. Visit our office at 2nd floor, Dickard House, Ring Road, Ibadan. Tokwe Edward Realty Company Limited. Happiness, freedom, and peace of mind.
Your hustle just found powerful partners. HP's new laptop,
Splash FM 105.5
is built to get you closer to your goals. Long battery life, so you can work long hours without interruption. Plus impressive speed and performance to match your goals and determine.
Splash FM 105.5.
Your hustle just found powerful partners. HP's new laptop, powered by 10th generation Intel Core i3 processor, is built to get you closer to your goals. Long battery life, so you can work long hours without interruption. Plus impressive speed and performance to match your grit and determination. HP laptop 15DW1324NIA, powered by 10th generation Intel Core i3 processor, is available at all DreamWorks stores. Call 0808-553-8331 or visit www.dreamworksdirect.com for more information. HP with Intel, the technology partners of your hustle. Look for Intel.
Splash FM 105.5.
All right, are you still there? It's State Affairs on Splash FM 105.5 here in the city of Ibadan. Alhaji Taufik Akinwale is still here with me. The Labour Party's gubernatorial candidate of the Labour Party in the Oyo State governorship election 2023. All right, someone is responding here on WhatsApp. Okay, so let's see how you respond as well to the questions available on the table. Would you like to join the conversation? Let's talk on Facebook, okay? Let's see who's here. Okay, Alhaji Taufik Akinwale, before we come back to your state, let's go back to your party at the national level. It looks like your party has unraveled eventually. The party touted to be the third force, the arrowhead of the third force. Unraveling eventually. What happened to your party?
I'm not the spokesperson for the party. I may not be able to say much on the party for now because it has to do with litigation and all those stuff. And the matter is in the courts, or the court has even ruled, and it is out of discussion. So, and it is widely believed that the leadership is embattled. And so I don't want to dwell so much on it because it's still ongoing. We'll see where the where it ended.
I like your choice of the word embattled. Isn't the party also embattled in terms of the results that it had turned out already? Oh, eventually your party produced a governor in Nigeria. That's a plus for your party, right?
Thank you.
Okay, so how do you now look at the presidential election? Peter Obi, turned out, 6 million. That's a good result. The first time in Nigeria where an opposition party, particularly a third force, will be pulling so much numbers in the election. What does that tell you about the trajectory of your party in Nigeria?
There's a good development, and we all appreciated the good people of Nigeria for this gesture, and we hope that we still get better, patronage in the next election.
The next election, will there be Labour Party, really?
The time will tell.
Time will tell?
Exactly.
Will you still be in Labour Party in 2027?
I can tell about that if I'm sure of being alive tomorrow.
A party that dumped you in March?
I said if I'm still going to be alive tomorrow, we can talk about party, whether I'm going to be there or not. Can you talk about me being there tomorrow, alive?
I'm having conversation here.
I just answered.
Okay, Taufik Akinwale is here with me. You'd like to talk to me, right? Okay, go to Facebook, watch us live there, and help us to understand your perspective to the matters we are discussing. All right, so let's come back to Oyo State now. So you contested in that election. You were one of 16 governorship candidates. You came fourth, right? And that's a good result for someone who was considered an underdog and whose party didn't really give the chance in that election. How do you feel?
I feel all right. I feel good. At least I feel fulfilled that I was not a sellout, that I'm a determined, focused, courageous, and believer in God, that there is nothing he cannot do. I started from scratch. People don't believe it. People don't give me the opportunity. They don't even know I will reach that stage. And to the glory of God, the rest is history now. And our election has been conducted. And to the glory of God, people voted for me without, endorsement, for that matter. I think they voted for me freely. And I want to use the opportunity again to thank those people that voted for me. I thank you. God bless you all. So I want to say that I've told the people of Oyo State the kind of person I am. I'm a principled man. I don't get, distracted with money, distracted with big guns, distracted with, anything that could distract individual. I am a focused person. I went into the election, remained focused, and I made sure that I did it to the end. So I thank God for this great opportunity, and I believe, subsequent one will be better off. Even though I am not perturbed that the outcome of the result, because I know what went, under G. I know what could have been the outcome because of the, intrigues that ensued before the election. So, like I said earlier on, that I have never had this kind of a scenario in the history of political happenings in Oyo State, in Nigeria in general, where a candidate will not willingly or will not determine to step down or to have any accord or any alliance with, other political party, while the party, they don't have any stake. I am the one contesting to the glory of God. I am the one who won the ticket. I purchased the form to contest the election. I used my money for all the election expenses, and you are the one going to negotiate my own, mandate. I think I leave them to God to judge for them because they think he can go scot-free with it. I don't think God will just silence about it because God is God of trust. I was not willingly asking them to go. I did not ask them to go and negotiate on my behalf. They are not the one contesting. I've paid their dues. I've paid them all that is expected to be paid to the
Perhaps you didn't pay them enough.
Enough is not enough. You don't know how enough it is. But I have done the constitutional requirement of my dues. I paid, administrative charges. I paid for nomination form. I paid for, expression of interest. And even all those things that are underground, I did it.
Underground?
Yeah. But to my surprise, to my dismay, I just saw them. They want to hold press conference.
They didn't tell you why they dumped you.
Why would they? They have no reason to even tell me because they don't need to even go for just an unholy alliance, unholy, collapsing. It is an aberration to politics, and I tell you.
So listen to Honorable Sadiq Taishi, your state party chairman at the state, and he was trying to explain why the party went with the PDP governorship candidate, current governor of Oyo State. He said that we decided to support a candidate with character, competence, and capacity. These are 3 C's that they thought that you did not have, or did they not tell you that?
Okay, thank you very much. This same chairman was at the forefront of criticizing this political party. Okay, not even this political party. The political parties, the big political parties. He criticized them so well that the people of Oyo State listened to him, that they should give Labour Party the opportunity to showcase their ability to lead. He's the one in front. He's the one that told us so many nasty things about Seyi Makinde because he has worked with him. He was his accountant in his private company. He told us about him. He was the one that told us that violence should not be welcome in any arena, and he symbolizes PDP as a violent government. He was the one that said that the PDP, was not having what the people of Oyo State needed. Because of this, he wanted to contest you. We contested this ticket together because I won. He also wanted to get this ticket because I contested with him. I won this ticket because he believes that PDP was not doing well too. So It is the same person now that are talking about character, competence. I am telling you, is there anything about competence and character when you are contesting for primaries in an election? It is about you knows how to do it well politically. If you know how to do act of politicking, you know how to go by hits. You get the ticket.
Perhaps your politicking was not enough.
Fine. Let me say this to you. I have the character to the glory of God. I have the competence based on my antecedents. I was, I thank God you are there. You called us on the day of your debate. I told them I was the most experienced in terms of local government administration. And that is an experience. That is to tell you that I told the world that I was competent. Then he's talking about character. What is character? I am the most, very noble character of all the contestants, in the sense that I have no EFCC matter, I have no criminal case, I have nothing that could be an impediment against me. That is character. I have no case on my head. That is character. Character is not about what they said, that they called me to a meeting and I walk out. They called me to a meeting, I was cursing them. That's not about it. When you call me to a meeting that you have already decided what you are going to do, I need to excuse you. That's not about character. It's about me knowing that you have already prepared your mind. You have taken your decision about the issue we are to discuss. There was no need for me to go ahead and discuss with you. When you're talking about cursing somebody, it is when you observe that they are not doing the right thing, then the only thing that we do is that you leave them unto God. So if leaving them unto God is cursing, and they call that one character, they are just trying to be economical with the truth. That's just it. And let me say this to you. I have dot all the I's and cross all the T's. And I know, they know themselves, they are just calling the dog a bad name in order to hang it, because they don't have anything against me. Okay? So in terms of competency, I said I have gone through local government administration, I have gone through state administration, I've gone through federal government administration. And I was the most experienced, I said it. So character, what is the character? I'm not one of the touts. I'm not one of the people that beat people around. I have no criminal case whatsoever.
You say you are the most competent
in terms of administration as well as experience. I said it, so even on your debate.
Can you claim to be more competent than someone who has spent 4 years as governor?
Oh, good. You see, when you are talking about administration, you're talking about those people that had that experience before you. Those people that have experience thereafter, they do not qualify to be your senior in terms of administration. So I was in this game before him. He has never had any political office before. And I've had one 17 years ago when he was nowhere to be found. So I did not stop up to the moment.
Okay.
So in essence, how could you compare his experience with mine?
Okay, so...
and these are public offices.
Okay, Alhaji Taofeek Akinwale, I thought to ask you this question. With all this, your experience and all that, if Seyi Makinde should call you to say, join my team, I'd like to use your experience and competence, what will you say?
I will never join him because he lied against me. He said he told these people that I was on his payroll, that he was giving me money, that I used to beg for money from him. He even used one Pastor Ake Alamu that they said that the chairman Tescom, that I came to him to ask for negotiation. All these get annoyed.
You are making allegations.
Exactly. These are things that are very annoying. He's a governor, fine. He has money, he has connection. If he gives me anything, it is not bad now. But when in a situation I did not ask you for money,
okay,
I did not come to you to negotiate anything. I didn't say I want to step down for you. You now went ahead and told lies. That lies pained me. If I cried over it.
Okay.
So I don't join people who are liars.
All right. So
let him continue with his accusation.
All right. So what is the next thing for you now?
You can I can't tell you my next thing now. How will I tell you my next thing?
Okay.
Yes, now.
Are you going to, challenge the election? Really, based on all the things that you said?
It is within me. It's not for public consumption.
Okay. All right. I must say that it has been, breathtaking conversation with Alhaji Taofeek Akinwale, the Labour Party governorship candidate in the governorship election in Oyo State on the 18th of March, 2023. Alhaji Taofeek Akinwale, thank you for coming.
I really appreciate you for this opportunity. Don't worry, better days are ahead.
Okay, better days are ahead indeed. I like that submission. The job is done for today. I'd like to ask you to join Edmond Obilo next Saturday on the program State Affairs on Splash FM 105.5. As for me, much later today, I will be on Book Splash. You like to read books, enjoy books, revel in books, and also engage writers. Let's do that 2:30 p.m. today. On Monday, Talking Points on Splash FM. I will be back. In a moment, the Splash FM, Lagelu FM Quranic recitation competition will be on. And soon after, Ijoba Ibile Adewale will be here. Double A, Abiodun Adewale will be here also. Let's talk administration, particularly at the local government, during that time, 11 o'clock. My name is Michael Olatunbosun. I'd like to say thanks to everybody who has contributed to the success of the program today. Join me on Monday, like I said. But before Monday, this afternoon, let's read together. Enjoy the rest of the day.